I hate videos. Now, you may be wondering, if I hate videos, what the heck am I doing here? And of course, I didn't unmute myself. Happy Wednesday, everyone. I'm super excited. Can you tell? I'm super excited to be here with you guys. If you want to listen on radio and send us a WhatsApp message, here is the number +276971445204. Of course, we are also live on radio on Africa Online Radio, which is this website that's scrolling across your screen right now. But how about I introduce myself? My name is Inga, and I'm known as a community connection catalyst. What that means is I help you build your community, whether you're in the corporate world or an entrepreneur. So reach out to me, I can help you with that. I am super excited to bring on my amazing friend, Iliana Sutton, somebody that I met via LinkedIn, believe it or not. Just wrapping up a song on the radio, and then I'll make it part of our stream. Oh, if you are listening live on radio, that was basically a double play by Alicia Keys. I played Superwoman and now Girl on Fire. And I'm super excited because there is a Superwoman sitting in the green room waiting for me to bring her on stage. If you and I have not met yet, send me a message. What's stopping you? And if you're watching this live show on LinkedIn, YouTube, or Twitter, please drop us a comment and let us know. We'd love to make your comment part of the conversation. Thank you to our awesome friends who have already sent me messages via the WhatsApp group for Africa Online Radio. I appreciate you all. Thank you. Um, Thank you all for tuning in. Today is, of course, Wednesday, and this is Wonder Women Wednesday, where we get to highlight ordinary women making an extraordinary difference in the lives of others. And the whole point of the show is for us to learn from their journeys and see what it is that has helped them overcome adversity so that we too can overcome adversity like they did and level up to be our best selves. So, without further ado, how about I welcome my amazing friend, Iliana? Hello.
Hello, hello, my friend. How are you?
I'm awesome now that I see you. Thank you. How are you?
Good, good. Can you hear me clearly?
Yes, I can.
Great, great, great,
I
great.
can. Welcome. Thank you for being here with us.
Thank you for having me.
A pleasure. Won't you please introduce yourself? Let everyone know who you are and what you do. Did you hear me?
Yes, Senor, there's a double recording. I don't know if there's two different voices happening, so there's a delay.
Okay, that's okay. So I would like for you to introduce yourself. Let everyone know who you are and what you do, please.
So I'm once again, thank you so much for allowing me on this platform.
I can hear you.
Okay, well, I'm just going to keep on going. So I'm
Yes, keep
Iliana.
going.
I'm the CEO and founder of AHA Workforce Education Solutions as well as AHA Interpreting Solutions. Both focus on providing free education all over the world at this point. So I
So, hold on. Before you move forward, let me ask you, because you were listening to the radio earlier. Have you turned it off?
know I have now turned it off.
That's
Thank you so much for
good.
being on deck this day. I was like, it's not me. I don't know what's going on. But hey, everyone. So let's
Oh,
just
good.
start again. Ingor, thank you so much for allowing me on this great platform. I've been able to kind of watch your growth and all that good stuff as well. LinkedIn has brought us once again together. LinkedIn has proven great partnerships for a business like myself, which is a small woman owned LLC. I have two LLCs underneath me. I'm the
Wow.
CEO and founder of both of them. Both of them are with the initiative to provide education either to our folks that are working as language access providers of some kind or our workforce division as
Yeah.
well. But we provide what we call free opportunities to help empower our communities to kind of grow as well. But on top of all of that good stuff, I'm a mom. I'm a grandma. I'm a doggy mommy grandma, per se, kind of. I was the grandma, but now I'm really the mom as well. I have a football of grandchildren as well, and I'm here to really kind of share all of that I can, and hopefully we all can grow from this discussion. So thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you for being here. Um, Before we dive into the conversation, I just want to acknowledge whoever is tuned in and watching us live. So, we have Catherine. She says she's excited for today, and I have my cape ready to take flight. Honestly, if you are not connected to Catherine, you need to. The two of you would really hit it off.
Let's do it.
She was also a Wonder Woman on my show recently. And she says, Phew, I thought my hearing was blipping. Oh my God. And we
How
have
funny.
Gail. She says, Hello, Wonder Women. Hi, Gail. Thank you for being here. If Have you connected with Gail actually?
I am not 100% sure. I
Okay.
can't answer that.
Okay.
That's putting me on the spot.
Okay. So anyone who's commenting, connect with them. They're awesome. Look, we have my sister from another mister, Michelle Hovenagel Swan Quick. She's tuned in all the way from Denmark. Thanking for being here, sis. She says, Hi from Denmark. And Catherine says, I'm always a Wonder Woman. Yes, you are. And she's saying hello, of course, to Gail. So thank you. Thank you for being here. Aliana, let's jump in. I want to ask you, um, can you walk us through your journey? What, where did you start, and where did it take you to get to where you are today?
Oh my goodness. Well,
I know it's loaded, but you can go ahead.
yeah, culturally, when you ask someone who's a Hispanic background in the line of medical interpreters, we usually set up ourselves up for a huge journey of story. So I'm going to try to summarize as best as I can. But, my journey really began in an early age. I have a really good sense of memory. My memory goes back to when I was about 3 years old. And so I'm just turned 50. I can say some things I know and retain better than others at this point, but my memories are still there from the age of 3, where, I was the silent one, out of all of our family members, the awkward one, the one that kind of followed behind my mother, most of the time, really like preferred to follow my father. More as well. So I really became a daddy's girl really young as well, which allowed me to be exposed into, him opening up the trunk and fixing underneath his car because he was independent. His trades got him to the US back in the 70s, where the immigration needed people to come through the border that had some kind of trade because the demand was so high. And since my father was an entrepreneur, he decided to put his foot forward and take that adventure and leave my mom, which was his wife, and my older sister of 10 years difference than I am, and leave them back in El Salvador and make that journey to the US. But, I remember, being walked by a babysitter to be able to go and see my parents at lunchtime because they worked from early sun up to sundown, and sometimes I wouldn't see them as well. So, my journey has begun from certain foundations that were set in place, as well as a lot of personal experiences, being a young mom at an early age of 18, really already knowing what college I was going to go to. I thought I was going to go to UCLA. I thought I was going to major in criminal justice. I knew I was going to be some kind of Secret Service FBI agent with superpowers, right? I knew that. I even knew what kind of car I wanted my father to buy me during graduation. So, my journey is really a little bit of my young life, my midlife, and really mistakes, hit and miss. We make them every day as well. But my journey has really become my journey, meaning I've owned it. I've stopped questioning it probably with the last year and a half as well. And when I mean that I've claimed my journey, meaning that I'm confident now where I know
Mm,
who I am and that I can share my experience. And not everyone's experience is the same, and nor do I force people to sit and listen to what it is that I'm sharing.
okay. Wow. So within the last year and a half, you've really grown into yourself. Um, I think when we're younger, I think we think it happens much earlier, right?
Oh my God, yes.
um, yeah, but really, the way that I think is like this. I believe that our journey can be compared to that of a caterpillar becoming a butterfly. It takes time. And honestly, if you take two caterpillars who were born at the same time and you put them next to each other, guess what? They don't always go into the chrysalis and develop into a butterfly at the same time. They don't.
Right. And
Every
how and how
person,
bo-
yes, sorry,
and how boring would the world be if that's
it's
where we really were, right?
right,
If all of us looked alike, if all of us had that secret magical book that told us, oh, stop here because you're going to fall on your face, or stop here because you're about to make the best choice in your business
right.
career, we would not be here, and our world would be robotic.
You're so right. You're so right. Um, yeah, we would all, it would just be so boring. It would really be so boring. So I'm glad for the varied experiences. I'm glad for even just looking different to everyone else, right? Um, your journey is your own, whether it is with as like on your career or your personal journey, it is your own. Wow. I want to read Michelle's message to you. She says, "Thank you so much for sharing. Power woman, you go, girl. There's always a reason for everything that happens. To find meaning in life and what has happened in the past, we can use it as building blocks for our future, right?"
That is so right. I mean, if we do not embrace the good and the bad and the ugly, then we're really not being authentic to ourselves. And
Yeah,
being authentic isn't just a business thing, it's a personal life choice. It has to do with the power of you making those decisions. And
yeah,
so, some of us aren't at that point where they know they're a little bit unethical. And some
yeah.
of us realize that, but because of the environment that we're in, no one has empowered us to speak up and say,
Mm,
I'm done with this situation. I am ready to move on. I know it might be tough, especially coming from an entrepreneur. It was not easy for me
mhm.
almost 10 years ago to step up and be my own LLC. I had the dream, I had the vision, I had the education, I was ready to go. But no one, once again, there's not a magical book that tells you, wait a minute, don't partner up with that person because they're really not being transparent with you. No matter how much you can adapt, you can adapt all you want to, but you're going to find yourself trying to adapt to them versus you being able to adapt to one another. And that has been really the big change in how I see things now. I don't question my journey as much as I did before because I'm not a perfect human.
Woohoo!
I now know that I seek partnership just like others seek partnership. And I
Yeah,
have a mission and I have a journey that I'm trying to be on as well. And so,
yeah,
me being authentic and knowing where my best powers are have now allowed me to start connecting those dots on my own. And if you follow me, probably a couple of weeks ago, I started to openly own it by addressing it and saying, I'm cutting the middle person out
mm,
because, the ability to adapt is one thing, but for you to be in a position of in changing the world by empowering each other, by listening and
mhm.
having those folks out there that will not adapt, there's no bending room, right? Like you come across those bridges that are just so solid that they forget that every bridge has a little tension because if
Yeah,
it doesn't, what happens in a real life, if there's a bridge in this construction that has no tension, it's going to pop. And
mhm.
so that's been an eye-opening moment for me to really now be able to see a little bit clearer than I was. And, this happens all the time for us. Everyone's growth pattern is different. And
Yes.
sometimes we forget to validate all of those small wins, because of we get overwhelmed with the responsibility of being an entrepreneur, of
Mhm.
being that empowerment person, as well. So that is, has been my major change in the last couple of months or within a year.
Awesome. Um, Thank you. Let me say that I'm all about community, right? Um, and the reason is because, really, I'm driven by the principle of Ubuntu, which means I am because we are. And because I'm driven by this principle, I can recognize that the person that I am today would not be had it not been for the people that I've encountered in my life, the people that are part of my community. So to me, community is everything. I I strive to impact people on a daily basis, whether it is just by looking them in the eye and smiling at them, or by figuring out how it is that I can make their life a little bit better. Um, what does community mean to you, Ileana?
Hmm. I you sent me that questions and I reviewed it and I really went back and forth. I'm not a pre-planned speaker as well. Sometimes I'll have a template just to kind of keep me focused. But on this one, communities are different for everyone. Me being able to adapt to my surroundings has allowed me to be able to really create a community within its own community as
Mm,
well. Not in all communities does everyone live together, right? Because that's not how the real world. So in my community, how my brain works is I have different individuals in my community that contribute to our will of success to go around. That might be someone that I connect overseas via LinkedIn. It might be a community leader that works at a church. It might be the receptionist who works at the city building who now is interested in upskilling herself. It might be the set of my instructors. It might be all those government individuals that I need in my circle to continue to allow me to grow and find those areas that I need of improvement. So for me, community is really built of those individuals that are supportive of you. Now, I'm not going to say they all are all 100% on your page because you'll have some individuals in your community sprinkled about that you'll find in your journey that you will see what I call, are they really in this to for the long run or is it a short term solution? So I'm blessed to say that I have a really selective group in my community, but at the end of the day, it's about building those relationships, right?
mm-hmm.
People say you only have a couple of
Yes.
good BFFs in your life, right? But as you get a more adultish and start adulting, you really learn how to put those walls down.
Yeah.
And putting those walls down becomes hard because you let yourself be vulnerable to your community. And not everyone in a community has the same ethics or the same beliefs. And that is when your superhero power comes and the ability to adapt your community sometimes is a great win win situation. And sometimes things just don't go right when you're making those changes as well. So, community overall for me is a little bit of empowerment from this sector, all in that same pattern of empowering one another.
No, empowerment. That's what we're all about, right?
That's it. I mean, if we're not empowering one another daily, daily, and I'm not talking about on Wednesdays when you go to church and you're tying. I'm not talking about on Sundays when you're at church because you have to be at church because either your husband is the more get goerder or you've been raised and you know if you don't go, your family's going to question where you're at. I'm
Yeah.
talking about empowering people on a daily from, like you said, a simple smile, a hello, a hey, I'm here to listen to you. I got your message, but I'm busy right now. I'll promise I'll get back to you. Those
Mm,
little things that make you know that someone is watching you, because sometimes in our brain we assume that a lot of people have these superpowers, right? That are
right?
behind me, right? But even our superpowers, they take off their costumes and they live normal daily lives. Most of our superheroes are really awkward in nature. A lot of them do things that aren't even related to their superhero powers. And all of their journeys, they learn they learn. And when that call comes out for help, then all of your superheroes that are meant to be in your journey will show up. And a lot of us as women tend to want to have to convince others that we're your team, we got you, we got you. But there comes a point of time where you have to own your superpowers and just be able
Yes.
to adapt them in every environment, because in the real world, because of the color of my skin, because of the lack of college level degrees, because I was a young mom at the age of 18. I can have so many excuses on why we have to adapt. But the important thing is that we all have to learn to adapt, and know how to utilize our superheroes in a way where even if the worst situation has happened in a meeting, and let's just say someone says the most racist comment, joke that everyone else in the room is laughing, but you yourself don't see any humors. The choice is, are you going to laugh, or are you going to wait for that room to calm down and then address it in a humorous way where you can empower others and tap into that superhero ability to adapt? Because adapting as a human is a different meaning as the adaptability, right? Being a human power meaning is that you need to be able to see it coming your way, to know what tools or superhero powers that you're going to need to utilize, how to talk to people. Even the most transparent person, and trust me, I only speak from experience, sometimes doesn't cut it for everyone. Your
Yeah.
transparency can turn around and flip over on you.
Yeah.
So, it is the ability to adapt is empowering. You have to learn it, and you have to mess up. You you have to mess up. I
Yeah.
don't know
Yeah.
anyone that I am associated with that can tell me I am perfect at X, Y, and Z. And if I did have someone on my team, I would be leery to really even have a sit down with them
Right.
because they assume that they're perfect.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Oh, that's another topic for another day. Okay, so we're almost halfway through. I want to acknowledge some of the comments that I've received. But before I do, I want to say I can see that there are more people listening than are commenting. And if you're afraid to make the wrong comment, please don't be. Drop us a comment. Let us know you're tuned in. We'd love to be able to acknowledge you. Um, but let's go. I see Michelle said, hell yeah, I agree.
Let's keep it raw, right? I love it. I love it.
Yes. Catherine says, be authentically you. When you are authentic in your unique design, then you expose your heart so you can touch other hearts. Wow.
Oh my God, being authentic. I remember when I worked in the corporate world, which was, I'm so glad I did, but I can remember having to memorize speeches robotically with grammar words that I never even used in my life, that I would have to do the research in dictionaries because back then Google wasn't even an option, just so
Oh
I
my
could get
gosh.
an understanding of the meaning. Talking about stress and then having to make sure that I knew that I was dealing with nothing but individuals that didn't even look like me. So the stress and the challenge would always be there for me in the
Yeah.
corporate world, right? But because I knew the compliancy, I've always been key eye on compliancy on a federal level. That is really what has allowed me, even now, to become 100% confident, because when it comes to developing education, it's not like we just say, oh, yeah, we're going to draw this and I need you to follow the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, we're not going to reinvent the wheel. We're going to make sure that we're keeping our clients 100% in those areas of compliancy under the DOL umbrella as well. And so
Yeah.
Having a key eye and being authentic is hard when you're not really made to be in that setting. And not everyone is meant to be in that setting. And that is another push that I have in my journey, is to remind folks that we're not all the same. Not everyone is meant to go to a 4 year college, 3 year college, 2 year college. Not everyone is meant to be a doctor. Not everyone
Yeah.
is meant to be a lawyer, a teacher. I mean, I got an email a couple of months ago from a mom who was said, I am so scared. My daughter wants to be work in air conditioners, and so she wants to be an tech. I have no idea even where to start her. I need your help, because this mom thought her daughter was going to be a teacher. Well, guess what? She wants to be hands-on, fix air conditioners, start her own LLC. Wow, what an
Good for
empowerment
her.
for a young woman, who she doesn't even realize how empowering that is, just to get another young female into a different line of work.
Mm.
So being authentic for me has allowed me to just be open. It is what it is. I mispronounce words. Sometimes on my post, there's always some kind of typo, which I'm okay. I have to go back and edit it. I hope that my followers go back and see it. I'm good at what I do, but I'm not perfect. And that's okay, because my journey is not meant for everyone to be on,
Mm.
right? If that was the case, I would be sitting on thousands and thousands of dollars. We've had all government funders underneath our belt, and we would be rocking and rolling in that nature. But when you decide to become authentic and really know how empowering it is, your ability to adapt, sometimes your journey slows down. And it has to slow down, because
Yeah.
that means that you've given the power to someone else, right?
Yeah.
Whoever your higher power is, right? We don't all have to agree on who our higher power is. We just have to agree to remain authentic and always remain listening to others. Because if we remain being authentic and have an ear open and eyes open and walk slowly, once you have more than one person on your journey, it becomes a real battle, right? It
Mm.
becomes you now have a set of warriors behind you to push you through. I was reminded a couple of weeks ago, while we were going through an internal fire situation, that a leader doesn't fall down. A leader is the one that falls down, picks themselves up, and guides their team to success. And that came from an internal team member that I had to be reminded of as well. And so my empowerment, sometimes I don't necessarily see it, I don't hear it all the time. But when it comes apparent that my own internal team has empowering words for me, I know that I've done good, because if they decide to leave tomorrow, regardless of our relationship or whatever, I've known that we've empowered them in some way.
Awesome. Let's see. Michelle dropped us a comment. She says, we are all on our own. No one is coming to save us. Our life is our responsibility. So the sooner we see it, the sooner we take ownership of our strength. It's
I
beautiful.
agree. I agree.
She said, I'm a much better person because you are my sister, Inga. I right back at you, Michelle. So much love for you. She also says, I mess up a lot.
Don't we all? I mean,
Yes.
I burn in my personal life. Every other day that I cook something, I'm burning something. So I am not, and before, I mean, I've raised children and I've had to cook, but now I get busy. I'll have my phone, I'll be on an audio, I'll start
Oh, Lord.
multitasking, and then things get to burning and sizzling. Ask my team members, they'll tell you I've had to put them on hold. Sorry, you guys, something's burning. I smell it. Uh, as well. But as an entrepreneur, Mistakes should be part of your title,
Yeah.
entrepreneur, mistake maker. You own it. You have to own it. You
Yeah.
know, entrepreneur documentation. All those basics we can have a whole conversation about,
Right.
but it all comes back to being authentic
Mm.
and being able to adapt to your situations, because
Yeah.
not all situations are full of unicorns and rainbows and butterflies in our real world. I mean, if there is someone, please comment out there. And if you're listening on the radio, please share with us. There's no such thing as a dumb comment or a dumb question,
No.
as I like to say, as well. But mistakes. Wow, I probably can go on and on about all the mistakes that I've made, from me being too transparent, from me having a women to women kind of conflicts in between one another. Like, we were back in high school. I don't even know why
Gosh.
at that age was I even going back and forth, because we weren't in high school. I've had conflicts and downs, being an HR leader, being an ambassador, dealing with the funding and apprenticeship program is tough. A lot of leaders out there do not look like I look,
Yeah.
are out there pushing the initiative that we must empower, show our young people how to adapt. Let's
Yeah.
start asking our younger generation, what's your dream? And when I sit in front of someone, no matter what age you are, if I ask you, what is your dream? And you pause, then I'm going to tell you, well, you need to dream, because if you can't dream, I'm going to help you dream so we can dream big together.
Yeah.
Because there's not a law book that says you must be at the age of 16 in order to start thinking about your dreams. Or there's not a law that says you have to be 35 with 5 children and married and divorced and closed LLCs or bankruptcy in order to know your dream.
Yeah.
Most of us know our dream, but we forget because of all of the human barriers that are put in our workforce, which is normal. We all have to survive. There has to be corporate worlds, because there's people out there that can't work from home. They're not
Yeah.
meant to be business owners, but maybe they're meant to be part of your team in other ways, right?
Yeah.
Because you have to remember, all superpowers have different powers, right? All superheroes have different
Different
powers.
powers.
So
Yeah.
it goes back to adapting to your environment.
Yes.
Every business has changes daily. Do
Yes.
you know how to adapt to that situation? And
Yes.
if you don't, it's okay, because those was one of those areas that now okay, I
Mm.
don't do very well with adapting. I'm the one that's going to be, oh, what? You did woo, 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 woo. Oh, no, I'm going to send you a nasty email. Or better yet, I'm going to call you, or I'm going to hunt you down on your cell phone, or your face
Mm.
expressions are going to get all ugly. Or maybe you've made a teacher feel upset because she's told you your kid is a very talkative child and we can't get them to concentrate. So if those aren't your strong suits, then you have someone in that community that you should be able to turn to so they can become your superhero when you need them to,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
And
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 we can
so
be that for others as well, right?
yeah, I mean, if you don't have time out when someone sends you, this is my logic. LinkedIn is great. We've built our own platform. We have followers, right? It's wonderful and great. But if I get to a point where I myself can't send happy birthdays, celebration of their events, be able to tell someone kudos, then that means that I've grown way too fast.
Yeah.
When I have to tell someone, hey, you only got 3 minutes to talk because our time is going to be cut out, and you have 50 people and it's happening over and over, you're not adapting to your environment. So we're
Yeah.
not talking about putting on your superhero cape all the time for adapting in your situations, which you put your superhero on when you have to do those super power adapting. When you're
Yeah.
working with a high level individual and maybe you're going toe to toe with them and you're trying to set them back in their boundaries, right? When you're going to battle, that's when you put your superhero cape on. But sometimes just being able to make that switch in your ability to adapt can literally change that whole atmosphere and change it very quickly
Yeah.
as well. And you have to own it.
Absolutely.
you
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 do.
you know you have to own it. Don't just make the change. Tell people why you're making the change. They'll learn from you. If you're not sharing your experiences, then we might as well just say everyone stop following LinkedIn people because we're not really doing this for the right purpose.
Yeah. Let's get through the comments because I have a few more questions for you. So, Catherine says, I often worry about speaking up. And Michelle is laughing. And then we have Whitney Koch tuning in from Texas. Thank you for being here, Whitney. Nice to see you. Catherine says, oh my gosh, you are unique in all the world, and the world needs your uniqueness. Thank you, Catherine. And Whitney says, there's a lot of money to be made in HVAC, actually, in response to what you said earlier. So good for
Oh
her.
yeah, definitely. I mean, HVAC is a lot. I mean, there's apprenticeship programs out there that have HVAC certifications as well. It's a good money, good money.
Absolutely. Um, okay, Michelle says, Inga, we are making a podcast about making mistakes. Oh my gosh, that will be awesome. Um, Catherine, oh my goodness. Catherine says, the rainbows and unicorns are there. Sometimes they are just hiding under a pile of manure. I got the visual. Thank you.
And you know, and a superhero is going to uncover with their hands that maneuver. And that's what makes us unique from our normal humans is that we're not scared to get behind what it is that we're doing.
Yes,
I
and
love
if you
it. I
ask
love it.
if you ask Catherine, she'll tell you that sometimes the rainbows are just a little bit snarky. Oh my gosh. Catherine also says big dreams, a little bit impossible, a little bit scary, all unique to you. Beautiful.
Definitely.
Ooh, and Catherine says, she's answering Michelle. She says, they aren't mistakes if you learn from them, they are stretch moments. Wow.
I was gonna say,
100%.
I thought you were gonna say there were stretch marks. I'm at that age. I'm 50, so you know my body is what my body is going to be. But yes, you have to learn from your mistakes. It's simple as that, you know. And when you don't know, you should be able to guide yourself into a direction of reflection. You know, somewhere where you know that you can find peace and clarification in what your situation is as well.
I love it. I actually muted myself because I was like, is that mine? Mine inside? Because it's okay. My 8-year old is home with me um, because the two of us are a little bit under the weather. So that's why I thought, huh, is that me? But it's okay. Oh, Michelle says she needs to go, but she thanks us for this beautiful conversation. Love and light from Denmark. Love and light to you, Michelle. Thank you for being here with us. I want to actually just go back quickly because there are people that are listening from outside of the United States and they don't know what an LLC is. So, an LLC is a limited liability company. It's basically a company that is registered under your name. So, Iliana has one.
Yeah,
Uh,
and it's
yes.
just it's just basically a business structure. This really protects LLCs protect the human versus the business as well. So if ever it needed to be in a liability situation, you know that your assets would not be involved in any kind of leeway under the LLC umbrella as well.
Okay.
And that's probably why there's a lot of LLCs. And it changes your tax structure. You can go into corporate. When you're corporate, you don't necessarily have to do a lot of tax things as well. But we've chosen to be an LLC at this point.
Okay. Um, I want to say hello to Samantha. She's tuned in on radio. And then I also have Cecilia who sent this message. She says, "Oh, my hat. You have to mess up." Um, and then guess what? Our friend Daisy is listening, but she's having technical issues and she's been unable to comment. I sent her a message on WhatsApp, so she let me know. She's not sure why. She's able to listen but not comment. It's all good. It's all good. Um, so, how is your career journey related to the work that you do in community?
I think me being exposed to all different kind of communities, and when I say all different kind of communities, I'm talking all the way from those big old houses that sit up on mountains that look over views, and you're like, wow, how does someone even take care of a house that has 12 rooms and 12 bathrooms, right? I can't even keep up with my downsizing with my husband. To communities where we have individuals that you walk in their home and you can see straight through to the bottom of the ground. So I think me being exposed to real life situations, all the way from me being a young mom at the age of 18 to having the same partner for ever in a day with a huge age difference, to having those barriers in education, to people not wanting to hire me when I needed someone to give me an opportunity because I was a mom and I didn't want to be on the system, right? I wanted to be able to be a productive citizen. I didn't want to be a statistic. And also, I think the barriers that have occurred in business, people being unethical, people being biased and racial comments, and being open with me and me being able to reflect who I am. I know that that has allowed me to now own my journey and am passionate about helping everyone that seeks me. I turned that page of me seeking others, and it's kind of a mutual thing. As I walk in my journey, those that attract to what it is we're doing will come. Those that aren't interested will say, "Hey, Iliana, great job. Nice to meet you." And then you'll have those that will sit and say, "All right, we're going to cheer. But guess what? When things get kind of crazy, you're not going to see us anymore. We got to go. The weather's gotten bad as well." So, my journey, my real life journey, my experiences as a mom, as a young woman of a Hispanic mom who was raised in a really hard cultural emotional situation where she didn't know how to parent me. She thought that, hitting a child was the way to correct someone's reactions. Being emotional, I wasn't able to really even be transparent with my mom. Identity, I didn't learn my identity I, I think somewhere after I had my kid that I realized, oh my God, I'm a mom. So all of that and me being able to navigate my way, and my mom cutting my hair off and making me look like a little Hispanic boy during my elementary school years. Me getting bullied, my parents being Spanish speakers in an environment where everyone spoke English as well. Being limited on not me being able to interact, but not even being really empowered until I became over the age of 20. And
Yeah.
that empowerment, little by little, my experiences of not being able to speak up for myself, that led me to a sexual abuse situation that I didn't even know, because I
Okay.
shouldn't have known. I was too young at that point. So I have that life experience. I've had people in our circle that have been incarcerated, people that have mental illnesses, young mom, people of all kind of natures that I've been able to sit down and just listen and learn from them, and them learn from me. And that is what has now is now part of my everyday journey, is just to continue to allow people to tap into our resources so they can better themselves, and allow us to earn them that certification so they can open up those awesome doors, like in cybersecurity or office admin or office assistant. But in reality, for us to be able to have them walk by us and empower them so they can be their own superheroes,
Awesome.
is it.
So I don't know why LinkedIn is not populating all the comments to us, but I see some on my phone, so I want to read them to you. We have Platine Muenya saying hello. Thank you for tuning in, Platine. Then, ooh, Daisy says, Hola from Lorraine, Ohio. Hey, Inga and Iliana. Woohoo! Loving that background, girl. So excited for this moment. This is great. So, for those that are listening on radio, I want you to quickly just describe your background to them, please, Iliana.
All right, so I have a Superwoman cartoon character, kind of a little AI animation in war with another superhero as well. And I can move out of the way a little bit for you guys to kind of see that. And then I dropped our logo back there as a back call as well. And honestly, I'm a big superhero person. I was raised in the 70s, and the older that I'm getting, the more apparent it is that I need to attend one of these comic events, comic fest
Comic
events.
Cons, yeah,
Yes, event, because I think I would fit it perfectly
I think
as
so.
as well.
Oh my goodness. And so Daisy also says, someone said failure is our foundation. And I find this statement to be so true. For our failures is what molds us, right? I agree. She also says, Iliana, thank you for bringing us your story. No, no, many people will be inspired by it. I know many people will be inspired by it. And Platine comes back and says, your life history is so touching. Thank you for sharing with us. And Daisy loves my cup. I have a Wonder Woman cup for those that are listening on radio. Oh Lord, let me see. There was another comment that I wanted to read. So Daisy said, from one superhero to another, and something Wonder Woman would say. Embrace your inner strength and let it guide you. You have the power to make a difference, to inspire change. Believe in yourself and in the potential of humanity. Together, we can achieve the extraordinary. And this is what I'm saying to you today. We will succeed because we are extraordinary women.
I'm
Beautiful.
so I you know I'm blessed every day to have people like Daisy in my circle. You know, me and
Yes.
Daisy have a lot of history as both being women and entrepreneurs as well.
Mm.
You know, she's a tough cookie within her own self as well, and so
Yes.
she you know, has been placed in my journey for many reasons as well, and so it is a journey internal for everyone,
Yes.
even my internal team. I don't lead by micromanaging, right? No one should have to lead another human to do something that they are willing or capable of doing. If you find yourself having to lead people over and over and then literally going through one ear and out the other, or you have an awesome idea and they just, oh, okay, great, Aliana, it was great. And then 3 weeks, 4 weeks later, you might see it blasted on their media or on their event page and things like that. You know, those are things that we learn, you know, and we have to adapt to those bad situations. Adaptation is not just about adapting to all the great things that happen. Adapting is key when things aren't going as you need them to,
Yeah.
uh, and be able to utilize them when you need to and not be afraid to say no. I can't. I am not willing to adapt. Some of us are more bendable than others, right? Some of us
Yeah.
do great bending back and forth and they love, you know, adapting in all different kind of ways. Others only adapt to a certain way, and it's okay because
Yeah.
it's your journey and not mine.
Yes. Absolutely. Um, one more comment, and then I have one last question for you before we go, because we're approaching the top of the hour. Oh my goodness. So, Catherine says, I have a Wonder Woman cape hanging behind me. My husband says I can't wear it all the time anymore. Oh my gosh. And I want to say a special hello to Vicente. She is tuned in from Gauteng in South Africa. So thank you, Vicente, for tuning in. I'm so grateful to have you. I want to ask you one final question, and that is actually I might spin off another one from that one, but here's one question for you, and that is, Iliana, how did adaptability become your superpower?
Hit and flying and falling on my face and having to get back up, as well. I mean, it is, you know, it's it becomes a habit. It has to become a habit. It can't be something that you're second guessing yourself. You know, with being able to adapt, you link into that confidence level, right? It's all kind of a puzzle. Our brains are all wired the same, but our connections are sometimes a little bit different. You know, our ability per se as a bilingual's brain is not made as someone who doesn't even speak a second language. So, you know, adapting, empowerment, being able to connect those
Yes,
dots, I think, um, is, and I am not an expert in my superhero powers. I learn all the time. I mean,
every
you know,
day.
I made a video this morning where I had to remember, wait a minute, I start reflecting on a weekly, but that was because I hit a point where I was reflecting every hour on the hour. Seemed like, oh my God, I need reflection. This is not working out. Like, come on, superhero powers, where are you? But
Uh-huh.
it's learning what your superpower heroes are. What are your powers, right?
Yes,
And a lot of us don't get reminded. I didn't have mentors on my corner telling me this is your superhero power. This is what you can do. I've
mm,
had people along my journey who have given me opportunities to learn. When I did turn in a corny email, they would say, "No, Aliana, you have to capitalize. This is a name. This is a verb. Whoa, whoa, whoa. This is what you have to do." You know, I've had, you know, HR managers that tell me, "Okay, Ileana, you're going to need to do go this and this and this." You know, I've learned by hands-on experience on my business meetings, my chamber events, my events that I planned out and only had one person show up, to, me, announcing that we got this huge funding, and then guess what, the funding gets pulled from underneath us without us having anything to do. I mean, it's
Wow.
really owning and knowing your superpowers and being comfortable with who you are. We have not even hit, being a woman superhero. I
Yeah.
mean, being a woman superhero in our normal lives,
It's a different ball game.
we have to be adaptable to
Yeah.
our looks. To, if you're a mom, you have to compete with the soccer moms. Now you have to compete with the artsy, crafty moms who decide to
Oh
homeschool
gosh.
their children. Then you have to compete with the moms that are really being a mom and a dad because their husband is a provider, but they're the stay at home mom.
Yeah.
I mean, in the business world, you're competing from woman to woman. Sometimes it even gets competitive because, oh, guess what? You're not hands on in the construction world. Well, guess what? I might not be hands on, but I could tell you I got some experience in the construction hands on myself. I mean,
Wow.
people wouldn't even realize that years ago I had the power of welding. That's kind of what got me through my first career, was welding.
Jeez.
I used to spot weld as well, right? Who would have even thought that someone like me could spot weld? Yes, I was the one making sure the top of your water heaters weren't going to fly out and made sure they were secure, as well,
Wow.
for over a year, right?
Wow.
So
So that's awesome. Thank you. Um, Aliana, one question. For whoever's listening right now, how do they, like, what is your one thing that you would say they can use to cultivate the superpower of adaptability?
you know, I can keep it simple. I can keep it technical. We're going to talk about technical. Now, in age in 2023, we have a lot of resources out there. They even have assessments that you take that will tap into your superpowers. If you're a visual person, a data driven, go that route. Other routes are, there's a lot of people that are religious and feel like maybe they need to pray about it, meditate, reflect, go that route. Most of us have no idea what our superpowers are until we really come into one of those binding situations where we're all a hot mess, and then maybe a week later we're breathing and think, oh my God, I've just overcome that. My challenges to you is just to do the basics. Go back and initiate, what is your dream? What did you lay in bed? What did you giggle the most that made you that tingling sensation in your gut, that you knew that everybody would go around and say, oh, yeah, that's what she says she's going to be. Hee 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 hee. But in your head and in your mind, you knew that you wanted to do something like that. You wanted to be that superhero. Do the old school way. Make that round bubble, put that dream in it, and write those antennas and write all of those thoughts that come into it when you see that dream. Because that dream is going to spark that superpower, because you need something to spark it. I can meet you and I can talk to you, and you can come on a Zoom, and I'll make you laugh and I'll make you pick out your brain and all that. And I'll do it for free, right? Because I believe in empowering you. But it's
Yeah.
really easy. Sometimes we have to start back at step one. If we're not happy, if we have not yet, if you're in a, what I call a routine, a broken record, over and over and over, that
Yeah.
saying keeps coming over and over, stop what you're doing, sit back, make a simple list and all the great things that you want to do and what your dream was, and then take it from there. There's not a clock. No one's timing you, which is a blessing. No one can tell you that it's not your journey, or you're not your superhero. I can't tell someone, hey, this is your superhero, if you don't believe that's your superhero power as well. But you got to put work into it.
Yeah.
You can't think that all of our higher powers are just going to come and bless you and say, oh, all of the government contracts, Ariana, are coming your way. No, No, you have to go and do the work, which
Yeah.
work looks different for everyone.
Yeah.
We cannot be judgmental. We cannot be assuming that everyone else can adapt the way we do. And there's always a way to address those negative situations. There's no need to pull out your superhero powers when it's not even needed in that environment.
Yeah. So to summarize, let me see. So go back to your dreams and be open and then take action. I think that's how we can also be adaptable like you. So thank you, Iliana, for sharing your journey, your thoughts with us. It was good to have you here with us. And just let everyone know, where can they find you if they would like to connect?
All right, so I'm always on LinkedIn as well. You can find me either under AHA Workforce Education Solutions or just Iliana Sutton as well on LinkedIn, or you can reach me by contact, go on our webpage and hit the contact, and that email will go directly to one of my email portals, and I will respond back to you as well.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you for being here. And if you are watching live, you can pop over to Africa Online Radio and click Listen Live so you can hear the tail end of the conversation. Thank you, Iliana, and I'll see you soon. Be blessed. Come join us on the radio, everyone.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank